I am your host, always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, so happy about this one. We have Matt, Zombie Dog, Roomba, Dykes.
That's not even a robot in a film. There's one down here. The little fucker will just like, I'll be in the middle of a meeting or something. It'll just decide, oh, I need to do some hoovering. Literally, it's got googly eyes on it as well, actually.
Perfect.
I'll send you a picture of it.
I don't think I've hered the verb hoovering before.
That's a UK thing.
I usually say vacking as well.
Vacuum. That one I haven't heard. Vacuuming, I've heard.
Right.
It's very annoying to say, but anyhow,
That's other voice backing.
We're gonna stay on brand with this one. Joel, DJ Roomba, DeWitte.
Okay, I don't know that. DJ Roomba.
That's
What's
a
that
Parks
from?
and Rec reference.
I'm thinking about a turntable with a Roomba on top, just sort of standing back and forth, and
It's actually
sick beats.
It's an iPod dock duct taped to a Roomba that cruises around Tom's what's his fuck plays Tom.
Oh god, I can picture it.
Yeah.
This whole podcast has got to take a pause while we figure out who he's on Master of None.
Okay, I'll see.
Oh, Rizamad? No.
Nope.
Shit.
How can I not think of his fucking name?
Hold on. I'm on it.
Frantically Googling.
I'm on IMDb anyway for the show.
Tom Haverford, is that the character?
Yeah, that's the character.
Yeah.
It's Aziz Ansari.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yes.
We did a good job today. This was a good episode.
Well, great talking about Dark Fate, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, so plugs, yeah.
Oh, wait, let's not forget. We forgot to introduce Ryan, Rosie Lootens.
Rosie. Fuck,
That's
what's that from?
Meet
Jetsons.
Jetsons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that cartoon in probably ages. But it's fine. I like it.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect. Yep. Matt just sent us a picture of his Roomba.
It's not mine.
Is it
It's my
sentient?
Sorry,
girlfriend's.
Matt just sent us
Is
a
it
picture of
sentient?
Charlotte's Roomba. Thanks, Matt. There we go. That's exactly what I needed today.
It's got eyes on it and everything.
It does. It's adorable. If I had a Roomba, I'd also put eyes on it.
Mm.
I'm not sure if I put the eyes there though, because now it looks like it's always looking up. It's got to see where it's going.
Well,
It has
it's
a lot
got
of
one
eyes,
at the
too.
back, two at the front, two in the middle.
There's a lot of
Eyes
on
all
it.
over the place.
Kind of a spider. Anyhow, so I could keep deflecting all day. I am not a fan of today's movie. This is this is my least favorite Terminator movie. Unfortunately, I think it is the worst Terminator sequel with the best ideas. I think this movie's ideas were fucking swings to the fences and they're incredible. I don't think a single hit lands, with the exception of casting. I think casting across the board was pretty good. We'll get into it, but I want to see where everybody else lands on this one because I think I'm going to be the outlier.
I think I'm very similar to you. Like the more I think about it, the more it is like I'm looking at the stuff I'm enjoying is I'm looking at like the ideas that are behind it, less the execution. Because I do think it's not terrible. I still think Salvation is a worse film. I like the ideas. I like the fact that, you know, you have the protector being sent back that is an augmented human. I think it's a great idea. I think it's this sort of natural progression. I think the idea that, yep, you stop Skynet, Judgment Day, but then we all know, like, you know, how many Terminator films have we got telling us that AI is a bad thing, and people are still making Chat GBT or GPT or whatever it's all coming, like, you know, and it's like, yeah, you're just gonna keep. You may delay it, and it may be a different name, but you're basically going to get a Skynet at some point. And I like that idea as well. But yeah, the execution's not fantastic. But I would much rather watch this one again over Salvation.
I put this one in the same level of watchability with Salvation. Like, I don't go to Salvation very often. I'd go to this one just as often. Like, just kind of almost never would be where
I like seeing Linda Hamilton back as Sarah Connor. I think especially with what they do with her, it very much feels like she's still Sarah Connor and stuff like that. And it's nice seeing Arnold, Carl.
Pops was better. Anyhow, Joel, what do you think?
Pops was better.
I think this movie is a fun disaster. So it's there are I agree with Matt that there are ideas out there that could work that don't. Terminator Salvation's boring. It's the most boring action movie that I've seen in a long time. This one at least is interesting in the swings it makes and doesn't connect with. And so I had a lot of fun. There's plenty of flaws to talk about. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same level for me.
Ryan
is getting ready to defend this thing.
Did Ryan just do the bicep reeler?
The roll his sleeves up.
I did the Henry Cavill Mission Impossible thing. Okay, so in no means is this a perfect movie, because it isn't. It has got creative control issues. It has got a lot of things that are going well for it, but not going well for it. A lot of different things. But I will say this. In terms of resetting the future that Genesis and Dark Fate attempted to do, Dark Fate did it better.
Sure,
and I will say this for which makes it a better movie out of the two after Salvation. You know, I'm not going to say what happens. We'll get into it, but Sarah Connor is lost in this movie. And at the end of the movie, she finds her purpose again. She finds what her purpose was in the other films. She sees that with what transpires in this movie. And I think that's a validation for her character. I think there is a huge misuse of Arnold Schwarzenegger in this.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is its biggest flaw. But it is made up for with Mackenzie Davis. It is made up for with Natalia. I don't even know her name, but whoever plays Danny, Natalia Reyes, she definitely steps into her element. And then Gabriel Luna, who just got done playing Tommy in Last of Us, he makes for a spectacular villain in probably the best villain we've seen since, I would say, Terminator 3. That's my thought. That's what makes it a more enjoyable movie.
I can agree with everything you say and still do not think it's an enjoyable movie at all. And
we'll get into it when we hop in.
Yeah, so diving right into the thing that turned me off. So I've only watched this movie twice. I saw it once in theaters and then I watched it. I had to watch it over 2 seatings because unlike Joel, I think this is the boring one because I think the action is shot so much better in Salvation than it is here. I think the action is shot incredibly poorly here. I do not like the cinematography at all in this movie. Salvation doesn't have great cinematography
dark.
either.
This one is way dark.
Yeah, it missed the mark for me. So that's where I got pulled out action wise. But so after watching it the second time, I thought for sure the reason I was going to hate this movie was the same reason I hated it the first time, which was I hate the way they killed John Connor. I hate that they killed John Connor in general. I don't think that was the right call. The way they do it, I think, is just so needlessly brutal. Yeah, that for me, it just ruined the tone of the rest of the movie. And I can say that as both like a fan of film, as a guy who's been critiquing films for almost 10 years now, and as a Terminator fanboy, all of it just it hit wrong. Because to me, it felt like it just takes a huge dump on the ending of Terminator 2. Like, because Terminator 2 has such a melancholy, like, bittersweet ending of they lost everything they had with them, but they still kind of won, and now they're gonna ride off in the sunset. And then this movie comes around like they didn't ride off in the sunset. They made it to a beach, and then he got fucking shotgunned in front of his mom twice. And it's like, Jesus, like that just kind of ruins that feeling that I have at the end of Terminator 2. And after I saw this movie, it literally did damage to Terminator 2 in my head for a while because it was such a visceral start. And getting the mocapping in Eddie Furlong as John Connor again, which was such a weird idea. All of it together is just such a fucking negative way to start a movie that it just, for me, it set the tone moving forward. That should be a really interesting movie of you won, you did it, you stopped Judgment Day. That doesn't mean that there isn't a different company that's going to do the exact same shit. And aren't you fucked? Like, that's a really cool idea. but having it start in this insanely negative way, just for me, just ruins the tone throughout. They ruin the whole movie in the first 5 minutes.
I think the idea, I can accept the idea that in one iteration of the events, they might have won, but then John Connor still gets caught by a Terminator either way. I agree. It's disgustingly brutal.
I think
they could have easily, from a viewership side of it, they could have just alluded to it just enough. Have him push Sarah Connor away, walk up, show sort of him pulling his gun out, and then fade to black.
Yeah,
maybe give a gunshot, but like don't show it.
This is what I'm gonna say. In the world in which we live in, where we are constantly bombarded of news of school shootings, having a child be mercilessly killed on screen is not the proper approach. However, the tone of the film, I think John's death is warranted with what they want to do with the direction of the film. The execution of it was very piss poor.
Yeah. And for me, that's the tone for the whole movie. Great idea, piss poor execution.
Yes.
I genuinely think like this whole idea of resetting, like, you won, you killed Skynet, but something else is coming along. Don't have a Terminator kill John. Have it transpire that like 2 years after when Judgment Day was supposed to happen, he got killed in an accident. And it wasn't anything to do. And it's that. So then the whole point of like, his point was to fight the machines. They didn't like Judgment Day did not happen. So it put him in this position where he wouldn't have been before, and he was just killed in an accident.
Yeah,
and it's a much better way.
You would have had the same effect.
Yeah,
you would have had the same effect. It's death is death. You've already completed your mission, and what they're trying to do to make, and I think that this could have been employed just to get Arnold into it and make him relevant in it, was that Skynet sent multiple things. Well, if Skynet's so smart, then put a program in that Terminator's head to start rebuilding Skynet. So it's a huge plot hole, Matt. Like exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, I think it was. I seem to recall reading somewhere that James Cameron basically forced Arnold into the film and basically said, "No, you can't do a Terminator film without Arnold in. He has to be in it," and it makes the film suffer for that, because you've got the opening where you have to put Arnold in there to have him then show up later in the film to just basically make a few jokes and just be there as another machine that can, like, just kind of outshine the protector that was sent back.
But also it doesn't like.
Well, and see the thing there too is like the sentimentality of it too. Like both of these reboots try to give emotional empathy to our Terminators, and the first one does it better.
Oh yeah, Genesis does it way better.
Way better. There's a huge difference between Protect My Sarah and For John.
For John.
Yeah. The first one sells it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree, but I also
it's like For John. Oh yeah, I killed him. Yeah. For that kid I killed.
For John, sorry about your death.
I agree that he did better in last week's movie. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that bad.
I don't think he's that bad. I think it's the writing that's bad.
But I think the arc that they give him works too. Depending on, we'll talk later.
His only joke, "This is Texas," was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, that was
the barbarism. Great. The human civilization. I conduct a 72% that salvation will go towards barbarism. I was like, that's perfect. That's great comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the bit though where they're in the hangar as well, and he's talking about drapes.
Yeah.
And they were just like, the fuck?
You need butterflies. Polka dots.
No, that was I got a laugh out of the drapes conversation.
Yeah.
It's such a dry thing that he's giving this deep explanation about
pulling together a room through drapes.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's everyone else around there just like, what's he talking about?
Yeah. See, for me,
that's what makes it even funnier.
It's funny, but it doesn't fit for me. Like this movie, has massive tonal problems, and it's because they put somebody like Tim Miller at the helm. He made Deadpool. Deadpool is hysterical. And then he tried to do this, and he tries to pull in his hilarity, but while making an extremely dark and gritty future sci-fi thing. So like those moments,
that's it too. Like Dark Fate should allude to how much of a tonal shift this is going to be. but then you got like David S. Goyer, who's done things with Batman, and
Yeah.
it's just meh.
And it's just like,
well, you look at like, you know, like you said about the tonal differences, you've got that opening sequence of John being killed, which is brutal. And then at the same time, you've got the person who killed him then making jokes for the pretty much the rest of his appearance in the film. He's just cracking wise, and it's a bit like, and I'm sorry, like Sarah Connor, we know if she watched John get killed in front of her, she's just putting that gun that she had to her head and ending it. There's no way that she
died fighting that Terminator. In my head, after he kills John, she's gonna keep hitting him until he puts her down. Like that's It doesn't make sense to me that Sarah Connor, the one who ended 2, just falls to her knees and just cries. Like that is
another plot hole.
Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense.
Plot hole.
Yeah, she either kills herself or she just goes after the Terminator and attacks him until he kills her to stop.
One of them dies on that beach.
Yeah.
Like it's a guarantee. So like it's just
it's the Laurie versus Michael Myers thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's that thing at like the end of Halloween Ends where it's like, you know, one of us is going to die.
Yeah. Well, the flip side, you know, if I can, we get that, but then we get what we want to see in a Terminator movie, which is the Terminator storming the beaches. I thought
that was cool.
That was cool. That was great.
That was cool.
It was very, very cool. That, and the beaches are made of like skeletons and bones. It's very, very cool. That the way that the wave is just very slowly uncovering that skull, and then it does that pan. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, and like the non-action sequences in this movie are shot very well. The action sequences are not. That could be also a hit on the editing. Maybe I'm being too harsh in the cinematography. The two of them did not help each other though.
There's a tonal problem with the action scenes too, though. Like it comes off as like a big John Wickian action thing at the end, where it should be a very suspenseful, overwhelmed kind of thing.
That fight was not good. That end fight was not warranted by what was in the movie. And this is, you know, I can defend this movie, but I can also be an extreme critic. That fight scene was not warranted by what we just sat through.
No, the Rev 9, they do such a good job making him far and away the most formidable Terminator we've seen to date. He is a horrifying villain, both in his capabilities and his ability to blend in. He's the first robot we've had that legitimately blends in with people. Like he cracks wise, like he falls through someone's shed and apologizes. So
he talks about being in Afghanistan, you know, he's smart, you know, and
like and then I'm what was it say? Like I'm a weapon.
My whole body's a weapon.
My whole body's a weapon.
That's it. Yeah.
Expect a big ping, buddy. My whole body's a weapon. Like that's it's a fucking solid line. Like he's good, and the actor sells it. Like he's a very terrifying Terminator, and throughout the whole movie, fights last maybe 30 seconds before it's just run the fuck away. There's absolutely no way we can win this fight. And then you get to the end of the movie, and because why am I blanking on her name? Diana? No, not
Mackenzie Davis or Danny.
Grace.
Danny.
Oh.
Danny and Grace. Yeah. Danny turns around and goes, "This is our kill box." Suddenly that makes him killable. Like that's all it took, was just you had to agree that this is the time you're gonna kill him. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't work at all. And then it just kind of ruins the end of the movie, because the last fight sequence, although is not bad, like I like the Mackenzie Davis like helicopter blade chain, like that's kind of a cool idea, and like the damage it does when it hits is like, ooh, that looks fucking harsh. Like those are cool ideas, but it just doesn't make sense. That why could you beat him now? Like what's the difference between now and all the other times you fought
because the script determines that's all it comes down to. It's like, oh, all this plot armor, we've just stripped it away. Because like earlier on in the film, when they're talking about fighting the Rev 9 and you've got Grace, Mackenzie Davis's character, going, you don't fight a Rev 9, you run from a Rev 9. And it's like, you know, she as an augmented human is saying to these humans, and she looks afraid of it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's that thing of like, no, you don't fight this thing. You just get the fuck away from it, because you cannot win.
And then they win. Relatively easily. Like it's not that Mackenzie Davis has to sacrifice herself for it, but at the same time, relatively easily.
She has to sacrifice herself because of convenience of, oh yes, my power supply is just the thing you need to overload.
Her character's arc doesn't feel earned.
Not at all.
It's not her fault, but The way they set up her character, her being this cybernetically enhanced thing, but still being mostly human, with exception of some powerful moments.
It's
There could have
the
been
ending for me. The end
Yeah.
ruined it.
Yeah.
right. That is, but like I could have used a little more robot in her. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I could have just used more her less legacy characters. Like, and that's what it felt like it was going for. Like, we could have had a great relationship that they kind of had in Genesis with Kyle and John, but this time it would have been
Grace and Danny.
Grace and Danny, and like Grace looking up to Danny and having that great fucking relationship. But instead, it keeps getting sidelined with other bullshit that just got shoved into the movie.
Well, see,
Fan
that
service
reveal
bullshit as well, and that's the thing that I think is more unforgivable in this film. The fan service stuff in Genesis doesn't detract from the actual story it's been told. It's just like a nice little thing that's there, whereas the fan service in Dark Fate detracts from the story that it's trying to tell.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying this as somebody who I think I like Schwarzenegger in what he does in here. This movie would be better off if he wasn't in it.
Yep.
Yes.
They should have retained Linda Hamilton. She could have been the mentor, rough mentor style thing, the way she was to John Connor in 2.
And that's what I was saying. That's what gives her purpose at the end. That whole ending, that worked for me. But get rid of the Terminator, make things different. But Joel, sorry to cut you off, but that's exactly what I was alluding to. She has this person that she can mentor now in Danny.
No, that's sort of where I cut off. I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, because then she can sit there and she has her John Connor. It's Danny now. And I think that reveal was very well earned. And I thought that was a great reveal, showing that Danny is the savior of the resistance. And I thought that was perfect, well executed. I think the relationship that Sarah Connor fosters with Danny, as she's like, all right, enough of this bullshit. Here's a heavy armed shotgun. Let's blow some stuff up. Yeah. And then she's slowly mentoring that, and just, I would see that buddy road movie in part 2 and 3, Sarah Connor and Danny on the road. But I think the ending was very well warranted. Seeing them, looking on Grace before Legion comes, which is the new Skynet, I thought that was good. But getting there was the real problem. That fight scene at the end was not warranted. It's like the Rev 9, who we made out to be this great villain, went out with a swift kick in the nuts. And that's it.
The only thing that Arnold brings to this movie, in my opinion, beyond the guns and like he doesn't do a bad job with this.
I'm sorry, like you get rid of Arnold, replace him literally with Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
and it works because you can believe that Sarah Connor would
stockpile that shit,
would stockpile weapons, and it's the idea of if we go back to the beginning, if we have it as John died in a car accident, John died in an accident of some sort, nothing to do with Terminators. That makes more sense that she's now living a recluse life in the middle of the woods. She's expecting something's going to happen, and she's just waiting. She becomes a prepper.
Just to go off what Matt said, because they stopped him together, but now that he's gone, she doesn't know if it's still going to come, and that's why she's perfect.
Here's my problem: is that Linda Hamilton's character, Sarah Connor, and the Terminator is a separate movie.
Yeah,
it is a separate.
We got
movie.
A TV show.
It is a separate movie where that happened to her son. It's now her mission to hunt down and kill this Terminator. But as she finds him, that Terminator has built a life and has better understood humanity and how to sort of the understanding of why you'd protect somebody. Yeah. But it doesn't belong here.
No, it's at odds with the rest of the movie. But what I was saying, the one thing that I think the Terminator does bring, and they just don't do anything with it, which is a bummer. It's just one line. It's when he's talking to the Rev 9 at the end of the movie, and he's like Legion is inevitable, or whatever it is that he says. Like, this is like the thing coming. And the Terminator looks at him and goes, I came from a future like yours. Like, they should have done something with that. Like, I almost wish there's some way you could have had more of a connection between the Rev 9 and the Terminator. Like, if there's some way, because the Rev 9 is so much more evolved, is so much more able to blend in, they could have had a conversation, and it would have been very weird in having a bad guy monologue in this sort of thing. But it felt like this was the movie that could have done that.
You already got like a bit of a bad guy monologue. So like I literally wrote that, like my bullet point for that is it's a bit of a Venture Brothers reference as well. It's like, we're not so different, you and I. Yeah. And that's what it is. And it's like, it's like Terminator's just like, yeah, no, we are different. Like, I've come from a future like that. don't work out very well, and it's I just the only honestly, the only reason that Arnold is in this film, like if you take him out, we replace him with Linda Hamilton, like with Sarah Connor. She can provide the guns. You can still get to the airfield. You can still have all that stuff. The only thing that Arnold essentially does in this film, which pushes the story along to that climax, is he opens a fucking door.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
he does a good job. I mean, and he does bring Mackenzie Davis her drugs, which we didn't really talk. Like Mackenzie Davis's upgrades suck. Like they're just terrible. Like they're very effective, but if they basically mean that you have to be injecting yourself with like a huge cocktail every few hours or every time you use them or you die, it's like I would not opt for these upgrades. They seem very terrible.
Well, it's funny you should say that. So in The Expanse, the series, there is this, like some people do get these kind of augment upgrades. And one of the side effects is you get this like burst of energy, you can do ridiculous things, but then you feel like shit afterwards. And it's like, it's the toll that happens, the toll that it takes on the human body. And I liked that element to it, but I think she wasn't very fucking prepared for that. Like, why did she not, like, she should have gone and got the drugs before.
First. Yeah.
Like before using them. And, you know, you can build that up then. And yeah, so I like that they did include the fact that, yes, she is still technically human. And while she's got these upgrades, her body and her internal organs are going to be suffering when she's using them. And I just think they could have done more with it. Again, this idea of like the stuff that they could have focused on more to make it a better film, they sidelined for fan service. And it goes back to what I was saying, like, you know, the fan service stuff in Genesis didn't detract from the story, whereas it does in this.
And it's interesting, like when this movie was coming out, I remember hearing a lot about how they're trying to frame it as like The Force Awakens, but for the Terminator franchise. Ugh. And it's like, that's not where I'd start. Like I get, like when you think about it in that realm, it's like it does kind of do that, but
Force Awakens was shit anyway.
Yeah, that's not a great movie. Like I'm not sure if I'd start with nothing but fan service and a little bit of story that's kind of in the way of the fan service, because it's not as bad here, but you can kind of see those bones as well. And it's like, the movie before this just showed us how to marry plot and fan service. Did it do a great job? That's up to you, but it still showed you how to do it. This one did not know how to do that at all.
It would be like the next big comic book film that they're starting or the rebooting or whatever, and they're going, we're gonna take what they did with Batman and Robin and we're gonna do it with this film. And it's like, it's not a good idea.
That one?
Yeah.
But I think you're right about Last Week versus This Week's comparison. The way they set the framework for that kind of melding of 1 and 2, it wasn't around people, it was around the events. And this is all the inclusion of old characters is about the people more so than the events. And that's part of why it doesn't work.
Because when they do the callbacks to the original stuff, but just as like the events, like you get like a little bit like the helicopter, a little bit like when they're doing like some of the car chases, you get some like similar shots. It's done well. It's just like that would have been enough for me. Like personally, like I can be sold on having Sarah Connor in the movie, although I still think there is a solid argument for just doing entirely your own thing and just make this a version of Terminator where Legion, it's Legion and it's different now.
And
like
that's the thing. That's the natural evolution of, just because you stop Skynet doesn't mean to say that in 20, 30 years time, someone else is not going to come around with another AI because we don't learn from mistakes. Like, you know, we made a nuclear bomb and it's like, well, what did we do? Well, we just made bigger and bigger nuclear bombs.
Yeah. But it goes back to the whole theme of this entire show is the people in the movie thinking that they have agency, but all you can do is delay the inevitable. And so, you know, the downstream effect is that, and it's not going to change. It's just the way it is. And
maybe that's the dark fate.
but it is. It's like new people, new names, same problem.
Yeah.
You know,
wasn't that a tagline or something? I'm sure there was like a tagline for something. It's like, oh, it was literally Terminator 2, I think. Same make, new model or something like that.
But like there's there's so many different ways that like no one's ever going to pay me to make a movie. I've made peace with that at this point in my life. But like if I was in charge of this, like there's certain things that I would just do wildly different. Like I would totally lose all the legacy characters. As much as I think Sarah Connor's great in this, I'd still just get rid of her. And I would also make the movie take place at the start of Judgment Day. Like have everyone be off. So like Mackenzie Davis shows up not to help stop Judgment Day, but to make sure she gets through it. Like your whole job is just to survive the end of the world. And like
that'll be a really good, a different take on it as well. It's like we're not like saving you from something that's been sent back to kill you. We're making sure that you get through this.
Yeah.
That would work a lot better for the ending too, though, because the ending of this, it is the same kind of thing as 2, where it's like, okay, we stopped the Judgment Day, but now we're just here. Now what? You know?
And
now
this
we
has,
prepare.
and this has the exact same ending of like, now we prepare, like get ready. And it's like it would have been a very interesting, because 3 kind of did that a little bit with like they show up and then the end of the world starts. But that wasn't the plan. And I think if this one had just started with that as a plan, it'd been, in my opinion.
And in 3, you're going along with the idea. You're with the characters and thinking like there's still a chance, and it eats it out to where you find out slowly that it's not going to happen, but you find out sooner than the characters find out.
Yeah.
I didn't take the ending as that though. I took the ending as, oh well, we're just gonna go off and stop Legion from being created again. Then it's like, because the whole idea is like, I'm not gonna lose Grace again. I want to save her, and it's like, well, yeah, let's do that. But it's like, yeah, but that's not gonna work. You just proved that you Sarah Connor are living proof that you can't stop this. Like, if it's not Skynet, it's Legion. If it's not Legion, it's, I don't know, whatever the hell the next one's called.
Well, see, but that goes to Danny's, almost her arc, because when Arnold asks her, do you believe in fate? I mean, that fate is fate. You know, no matter what, it's going to come. And I think that's what is what makes the ending more. It's a better ending than Genesis or something that we've seen, because Sarah accepts that fate is fate, because John died and it still happened. And then Danny sees that too, that no matter what, it's still going to come. So them going off and preparing, I think that's warranted.
And I do like the idea. It really did, as bad as it was handled, it does destroy the idea that John Connor is the only person who can save humanity. Like, if it's not going to be him, someone else will stand up. And I kind of like Legion's plan as well. Legion's plan was not like Skynet to go all out from the beginning. It was Legion's plan is start a war, make them turn on each other. Yeah, so like, make them let them kill themselves to the point where they're not in any position to stand up and fight back, because they're all so distrustful of each other because they're starving to death. And then we come and take control. And I think that's a much better plan as well, to be honest, than just going straight all out, because you destroy them around before you even attack. It's like pure psychological warfare. I think it's a much better plan. It's something that a computer would come up with more likely as well. Like, it wouldn't, because the idea of, like, you know, this army of robots, but it's like, well, how are you going to build the robots if you're just a piece of software? You have to manipulate stuff. It's more manipulation than anything. That would be more what a computer would do. It wouldn't be big giant robots it'd build to blow you up. It would manipulate circumstances to get people to do their bidding, essentially, without them.
Matt, how do you know how computers think?
I work in IT.
Da, 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 da.
IT support, Matt speaking. Okay. Yes.
Internet support. I mean, IT support.
All right. I think we're ready to move into quotes, favorite moments, and whatnot.
Just before we do, I do this all the time, but can we just take a moment to appreciate how fucking ripped Mackenzie Davis got for this role?
She really did.
It was like, so good. I was looking at her thinking, yeah, this is like Linda Hamilton, Terminator 2 levels of, you know, getting into the role. And there's a few moments, especially when she's doing the helicopter swinging thing, where you're like, fuck, her biceps are huge.
Oh, yeah.
And again, like what you were saying, Brian, about ruining women for you, it's like you've already ruined women for me. You've just ruined them for me again.
Did I say that?
No, I did with Sarah
Well,
Connor back in.
thanks so much. I need to find a woman who can. It's the problem. Brian and Ryan are two very similar names.
They are. It happens. I'm still waiting for the day that she becomes more of a household name. I don't know why Mackenzie Davis isn't. She's such a fucking talented actor. Like, she should be everywhere.
Oh, good.
Well, she
have
just
you
did
seen
the
Halt and
Station-
Catch Fire?
Yeah, she had Station Agent. That was a good one. Yeah,
Station
Halt and Catch
Agent,
Fire
it
was so
just
good.
came out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the is it like a post-apocalyptic
Station
one,
11. Station Agent is a
Station 11. Yeah, Station Agent is Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage train movie. Yeah,
Yep.
that?
good movie.
Which one of these things doesn't belong here?
But yeah, I keep waiting for her to be a bigger name because she should be. She's incredible and very, very talented.
Every time anything I've seen her in, she's been fantastic.
Wasn't she in Blade Runner?
Yes, 2049. She was the like the cyber hooker or something.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. She's a damn good actor. Anyhow, so for my quote moment, it's all kind of the same thing. And it's the moment that Mackenzie Davis arrives and she has to fight all those police, and it's a great sequence. It's not shot very well. Like, it's very like almost early 2000s speed motion of just like, oh, there's a blur, and then she's standing there looking tough, and it's kind of like, it's a little too corny, but it's still a fun sequence. And it's only fun because like these people are getting arrested while this is happening, and she shows up and kills all the cops. And I love the moment the guy's like, wow, thank you, man, we were in a lot of trouble, and she just walks right up to him, just this 6 foot whatever beautiful naked woman walking up to this dude, and she just stands right at his chest and puts her foot right next to his to see if they're the same size, and just looks at him and goes, don't thank me yet. And then she's driving away wearing his clothes. It's so fucking good.
And then the guy's talking to his girlfriend, so they go, oh, help her, yeah, great.
Like, she could have killed you. You'd be could have been worse, is all I'm saying. You didn't take your underwear. She's going commando, so you know.
My moment has to be when Sarah Connor gets introduced. She just has a very cool introductory scene where she's no bullshit, straight to business, just obliterating the Terminator, and just
she says the "I'll be back" line as well.
Yeah. And then they run on her, and she gets pissed off that they stole her car.
She's like, motherfucker.
I like they give her the "I'll be back" line. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. It's perfect Sarah Connor, but you know, we get introduced to Carl, and you know, it's not the drape line or anything like that. Is Danny goes, so you're Carl? That's what everyone calls me, yes. And Sarah Connor goes, I am never gonna fucking call you Carl.
And then she does at the end as well.
She does.
So I thought that was good.
It was.
Yeah. So for me, it's not necessarily a great moment in this film particularly, but it's just more of a phenomenally acted moment. And it's the whole sort of thing that Sarah has around John. She's like, I don't have a photograph of John. I never took any.
Yeah.
I thought that they couldn't find him if they didn't know what he looked like, but now I'm forgetting his face. And it's just
Heartbreaking.
the way that she
So
delivers
brutal.
that, it's so brutal, and you can see the pain on her face. And it's like, you know, this is a character who, you think about all the stuff that she's been through. She fell in love and lost the love of her life within 48 hours. You know, she's been raising this child to be the savior of the world. They stopped Skynet, they saved the world, and then he's killed in front of her. And it's just, and she's just running on hate, and it's a really human moment from the character. I just think it's so well delivered. It's, you know, not going to say she should be nominated for an Oscar for it, but
Well, she wasn't.
no. But what I'm saying is, if it was in a better film, she should have been nominated an Oscar for it, because it's some good acting there.
I mean, actors have been nominated for less, is all I'm going to say to keep myself from getting blown up on the internet. But that actor knows who I'm talking about.
I just want to. I'm thinking that Emmy-nominated sticker on the box of this movie at your local rental store. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
And Emmys are for TV, so Joel really means what he's saying.
Oh boy. Thank you, Ryan.
I mean, it just made the insult a little bit worse.
Sorry,
all right,
Joel.
well, I think we've done it. I think we've talked all the Terminator movies now, right? Successfully,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, all the movies we have.
Yeah,
There's still 30 episodes of something waiting for us to pick up at some point.
I'm still debating that because that'll be the better part of a year to talk about.
It's
Why am I blanking?
Sarah
Sarah Connor
Connor
Chronicles.
Chronicles.
And
Yeah.
I love the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I actually think it's a lot of fun. It's the other Game of Thrones actor playing Sarah Connor, which is fun. But yeah, that's we haven't really done a long series in a while, so I'm hesitant to dive in because as good as that show is, it does have some growing pains in the first season that would take us a minute to get through. But by season 2, it's zipping along and it knows what's up, and then it gets canceled and ends on a cliffhanger. So there's a lot of reasons that I'm like, maybe it didn't deserve what it got, which is still kind of too bad. Summer Glau was so good in that show. Anyhow, it's a good show. But we do have another show
great
coming
in it as well.
Yeah. We do have another episode of Terminator before this is all done. We're going to wrap it up and do our rankings. We're going to rank the movies and some of the characters, and definitely going to rank all the Terminators. That is any Terminator that is in this movie for more than a few moments. Sorry, Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of Salvation. You're not going to cut it.
Thank God.
I mean, he wasn't even there anyway, to be fair. I just took a picture of him, just stuck it over.
They really it looked about that good too. Just like
I know, right?
cartoon Arnold just kind of pasted walking across the screen. But yeah, so we're gonna do that, and then after that, we're gonna do a whole other movie franchise that I don't have a title for the show yet, so I can't tell you what it is yet. Because I can't tell you what the subject is without a title. That would be ridiculous. And we just have so many good titles. I haven't decided.
I'm
on
gonna
one
say
yet.
we've been throwing some titles around in our chat, and there's like about 10.
Yeah, there's like
There's some really good ones in there.
there's like 30 out there, 10 that are good, 5 that I'm considering, and then probably the one that we're going with is not even part of that 5 yet. So by next
That's
week
facts.
at the wrap up, we will have a title and I'll tell you what it is. But I'll give you this hint. There's 9 of them released so far, or is there 10? And is there 11th or a 10th coming out this year? If you can't guess what I'm talking about, then I don't know how to help you, but that's all I'm going to give you.
I mean, I could give another hint.
Your hint will give it away. Give me your hint, and if it doesn't give it away, I won't bleep it.
Oh, that's all I'm gonna say. If it does give it away, bleep it. But
Yeah, okay, so I have to
Well,
bleep
that'll
that.
give it away. Edit that shit out.
Yeah, definitely bleeping that.
just bleep it out, or just overdub it, doing your best fake British accent, and just say something completely random.
That sounds like a lot of effort.
I would love to just cover over with.
Oh yeah. Trumpets.
But we'll see. Let's do a quick round of plugs and we'll say goodbye. For this show, every other show in the ATH network, be sure to check out athpod.com. This show, ATH possibly coming back, Damage Boost, Demon Days, shows from Joel, and we also have our news thing, yesterday's news today. Please be sure to check all that out. Joel, what you plugging?
Afterthoughts podcast is a book club where my wife and I read books. We are currently in Lord of the Rings. TBD on if we can slip in Dune sometime in between books.
Dune.
I
Dune
will
will be slipped in between the books. You promised.
He mentioned,
Don't-
he didn't promise. So I'll defend Joel on that one. He said he would try.
I committed to reading it this year. But I'll give you that.
Only March,
any-
you got time.
Yeah. And then Super GG Radio is a video game podcast where we talked about early release video games as well as hitting our backlog. I'm playing a lot of Overwatch. I'm not sure if that's a plug for a game though.
It is a game that you have plugged, so
It is a game that I've played a lot of. I'm not sure if that's a qualitative statement though.
That tracks. Ryan, what about you?
You can find me on the Front Row Network, part of NPR Illinois, where we talk about movies and TV shows, all your favorite things that we obviously talk about on here, but we do it in franchise style. But my main show is Front Row Flashbacks, where we talk about movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. We got a few episodes coming out. I don't know when this show is going to drop, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's a little ways out. Matt, anything to plug?
Still trying to get science nonfiction moving. I think with this one, it's going to be very similar to ATH. When that comes back, as like it'll be a monthly one, just because of like how we recorded one episode about 6 months ago and haven't been able to get any others done yet. So
it can be quite a task, and that's part of what the ATH thing was like. We need to do this in a way where we can enjoy it and have a somewhat consistent episode. So monthly seems to be the answer. And we might, if we love it, we might bump it up a little bit, but still, I mean, for a show that's, you know, part of the name of the ATH network, I'm still prioritizing Binge Buddies. So let's take that for what you will.
Oh, it's got ATH there somewhere.
Yeah.
ATH presents.
Yeah, there you go. Bye.
Bye.
I think bye, because we lost Matt. He just froze, so that's perfect time. Oh, he's back. All right, bye.
No, he didn't.
Bye.
No, Skynet took over from him.
Skynet took Matt.
I literally just got a message from saying your internet connection is unstable.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.